Okay, so a number of you will have seen my previous video on the Meghan Markle podcast, and you'll know that I only got about 5 minutes into the podcast, which was disappointing, I think, because it is absolute gold. It's a gold mine. Her podcast is one of the most insightful, amazing, inspiring, stunning and brave things that the world has ever seen. Am I being hyperbolic? Did you know that Meghan Markle, when she was just 11 years old, or 12, depends, who you listen to, changed the wording of a soap advert? This dishwashing advert, apparently. I don't know if any of you know about this, because I don't think she's ever spoken about it until the other day on a podcast. Yeah, the first 5 minutes of Meghan Markle's Architypes podcast on Spotify, the first 5 minutes of the first ever episode were her telling a story, which apparently some of you have heard before, about how she wrote to Hillary Clinton and to soap company and got them to stop saying women are battling Greece and to start saying people are battling Greece.
We like to say people kind.
And there's been a lot of snidey comments on my video, people saying that it wasn't really her who did it. It was a photo op. Her dad pulled the strings. Her dad was some Hollywood lighting guy who got the camera crews to go there. You know what the fuck had you done when you were 11, or 12? Were you out there making a difference? Or were you just, playing with your friends? She didn't have time for friends. She was too dedicated to social justice. And that's the reason Meghan Markle didn't have any friends. Because she didn't have time, and because misogyny, everyone hates girls, and racism. That's why she never had any friends when she was a kid. Well, she who laughs last laughs the loudest, because now she's friends with Serena Williams. Stick that in your racist pipe and smoke it.
Now look, I'm not Catholic. I wasn't raised Catholic.
I mean, I'm not saying you don't have to, couldn't have hurt, could it? Bit of religion, bit of Catholicism instead of pure narcissism.
But about 1 year after my letter writing campaign...
Sorry to keep interrupting. I really am sorry. I won't keep interrupting this much. But the letter writing campaign, this is 10 minutes into the podcast, by the way. He hasn't shut up about the letter, about the advert, about the commercial. Who are the hordes of psychopaths and morons who haven't tuned out at this point? We are eventually going to get to a bit of the Serena interview, but just to give you some context, she's talking about how she went to middle school or high school. I don't know what it is in America. She was 12 or something like that. She started going to a Catholic school, but she wants to underscore, I'm not a Catholic, right? I don't believe in shit. I have no morals. Sorry to all you atheists out there. I got no beef with you guys. But she's talking about how she went to an all-girls school in her teens, run by nuns who she thinks are like radical feminists or something just because they didn't want to wear a habit. Anyway, this is her way of introducing Serena by talking about her high school.
I started middle school at Immaculate Heart. I stayed there through high school. I was there for 6 years. And this feminist ideology trickled down into nearly every aspect of my education. It's probably safe to say into every aspect of my life.
Those radical feminist nuns, those bra-burning serfs of God. This Catholic nun brand of radical feminism trickled down into every aspect of Meghan Markle's life. Wow, what a surprise. I hadn't noticed.
This message to me and my classmates was clear. Our futures as young women were limitless. Ambition? Well, that was the whole point. So I don't ever remember personally feeling the negative connotation behind the word ambitious until I started dating my now husband.
She's referring here to what she'd said a few minutes ago, which you didn't hear in my video, but if you watch the full podcast, you'll see. She talks about how ambition is a, quote, dirty word for women in many parts of society. It's funny because I live in Spain and I speak Spanish. The word ambition, ambición, does have two very distinct connotations, and one of them is very, very negative. You can be ruthlessly ambitious. That can be a bad thing. A lot of narcissists are ruthlessly ambitious without understanding or knowing or recognizing their limitations. People dislike arrogance, especially when it's accompanied by incompetence. By all means, be ambitious, but yeah, be humble. Whether you're a man or a woman, the meek shall inherit the earth. Psalms 37:11.
And apparently ambition is a terrible, terrible thing. For a woman, that is, according to some. So since I felt the negativity behind it, it's really hard to unfeel it. I can't unsee it either in the millions of girls and women who make themselves smaller, so much smaller on a regular basis.
Listen, love. What are you talking about? What universe are you living in? I don't know about everyone else. Does everybody else really live in this world, in this world where men just like beat women down, the glass ceiling, the greasy pole? Really? Really?
So I wanted to talk to someone who embodies the spirit of ambition, to see how she thinks about the word and the connotation, and how the other many labels that affect all women have affected her too.
You see, Meghan Markle never understood that ambition could be a bad thing until she married the fourth in line to the British crown. You know, a prince. Then people started to criticise her and she's like, what? So you can see the obvious parallelisms with Serena Williams. She is, by the way, introducing her guest, Serena Williams, apparently somehow. Obviously, Serena Williams has been affected by, misogyny. Massively. It's really held her back her entire life. She's just never really been able to fulfill her potential, I think. Imagine what she could have done in a fair world, in an equal society. Just another example of how a black woman from Compton just can't make it.
All right, so here we are. It's my first podcast.
Good. I get to be part of the first.
The first, of course.
Let's make magic.
Serena Williams needs no introduction. But if we're going to talk about ambition, I just have to give her the props that she absolutely deserves. 319 weeks ranked #1 by the Women's Tennis Association, 23 Grand Slam singles titles, 14 major doubles titles, trendsetter, trailblazer, businesswoman, mom.
Mom? What a bloody trad. Get her off. Get out.
She's done it all. And Serena recently shared some pretty big news with the world. She's retiring from professional tennis, or, to use her words, she's evolving away from tennis.
I always think that sentence with artists, with sports people, with people who are in the public eye, I think that's very telling when they can't just say, I'm no longer a tennis player, I'm retiring, I'm finished, I'm done, I'm hanging up my gloves, I'm hanging up my boots. They can't say that. They can't bring themselves to say that. They say that I'm evolving, I'm moving on to pastures new, I'm starting new projects, I've got to do other stuff that I'm interested in now because I'm sort of bored with playing tennis. No, you're in your 40s and you can't compete anymore. It's fine. It's like they can't admit their own mortality. That is going to be your legacy. You are going to be remembered as one of the greatest athletes of all time, Serena Williams, and that's okay, really, because for the vast majority of us, we're just going to be grass, We're just going to die and no one's going to remember we were here. So fucking suck it up, because your next project, sponsoring some fucking shoes or whatever, is going to be bullshit and nobody's going to care.
So that she can continue to grow her family and focus on her other passions. She's just a remarkable woman, and she's accomplished all of this in the midst of a culture that, how should we say this, doesn't exactly prize ambitious women, let alone ambitious black women.
Oh, shut up. Our culture doesn't prize ambitious black women. Pull the other one. We are all rooting for everyone who brings good things to the world. Everyone loves what Serena Williams has achieved, and her sister Venus Williams. They were amazing. Nobody cares that they're women or that they're black. People don't like arrogance. That goes for white male footballers as well. Plenty of people hate on them because of their egos. Stop with the race baiting bollocks.
So let's get into it. Hi, you want to come say hi? Yeah. Look who just popped in.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I like what you've done with your hair. That's a great vibe.
Who the fuck is that guy? A douchebag, narcissist, yes man they've surrounded themselves with. Sorry, whoever you are. You didn't give me a great vibe.
Thank you. Good to see you as always. I miss you guys.
Well, come and see us.
I will.
We'll make a plan.
Have fun.
Thanks, my love. I was thinking about, even when I text you, I remember this is what I want to do. Here's the concept. Here's the idea. And just this thought of like these archetypes, but it's the kind of stuff you and I talk about so much, of these boxes and labels and, the things that we both have been called and witnessed each other being called.
You're extremely famous, you're always in the public eye. If you're getting called names, that's to be expected. Try and change public opinion by giving us something of value. Give us something to work with. By the way, don't talk about archetypes. You're not young. You're not young. You're talking about stereotypes. You're knobhead.
So I guess part of it, just to set the table, is what made you want to do this with me? Besides the fact that you're my girl.
I was going to say, because I love you. Anything you want me to do, I'm going to do.
Thank you.
I believe in you. We've been friends for so long. I'm super loyal. You know that.
Oh, I know.
While loyalty is a quality that many people lack, again, I find it very armchair pop psychology here. I do find it very telling when people describe themselves as very loyal. You're supposed to be! The opposite of being loyal is being disloyal. That's a disgusting trait. It's like going round saying, I am a very good person. You know what a good person I am. Bad people are disloyal.
Oh, I know. I know, never to a fault. But do you remember when we met for the first time? I was thinking about that. Do you remember?
At that game, right?
Oh my gosh, no, it was because it was the same year as the Super Bowl, when the Super Bowl was in New York. I'd never been before. And then I show up and I see you walking towards someone. And I remember going, oh my gosh, who's Serena Williams going to talk to? And I looked behind me, and when I turned around, you were there in front of me.
Absolutely amazing, right? The most amazing thing happened to me ever, right? I was in a bar, and then Jack Nicholson started walking across the bar. I was thinking, who's he going to talk to, right? And lo and behold, he was coming to talk to me, because he liked the cut of my jib.
You're like, hi. And we became such fast friends.
We have a lot in common.
I know. So much. I mean, the things that people think and the things that people don't. But in our friendship, when you have to see things that are mischaracterizing of me, but you experience behind closed doors the pain that I'm going through and vice versa, right? But I think what's so interesting is, even though that's on a world stage, I don't know if that feels much different for any woman. If you're in a small town and you see someone saying something about your best friend that is just completely untrue, how that feels. You know, when I was talking about all the different archetypes that women are affected by, and just in terms of if a man is ambitious, for example, that is so celebrated. But you look at a woman like yourself, who I think is incredibly ambitious, and that's a testament to who you are as a person, but that's also why you've become so successful. When you hear the word ambition, do you think of it in a negative or a positive way?
I was talking to, I don't know if it was my mom or my sister, but I said, I have to check myself, because I've been so blinded by society. You know, if a man is ambitious, am I bringing down society by saying a woman is something different than ambitious? Or what do I think of women that are ambitious?
I don't know what you think of women who are ambitious. I don't care if women are ambitious. Nobody cares if women are ambitious. What?
Often women are definitely put in these different boxes when we are ambitious, or when we do have goals, or when we reach our goals. It's a negative connotation on how we reach the goals.
But even for little girls in a schoolroom, right? If a little girl is ambitious or raises her hand more, what is she called? Bossy.
Meghan lives in a parallel universe because she's suffering from pathological narcissism. I don't care. I'm not Dr. Todd Grande. Sorry, but I can see things. I know what I can see, all right? What is she even saying? That if girls put their hand up more in class, they get called bossy. What are you saying? When I was at school, it was just generally accepted that girls were kind of cleverer than boys. That was sort of the feeling. Better at everything. They just kind of did all the work, and the boys were just kind of there like, there, and going crazy. Nobody cared what the girls were doing. And then in secondary school, you start to pay attention to the girls a little bit more. I do have to admit, though, a lot of girls pretended to be stupider than they were. That's probably something biological or societal, but who gives a flying fuck? Calm down and get on with it. Marry a prince. Become the greatest tennis player of all time. Female tennis player of all time.
Well, I was reading an article about how girls tend to raise their hand less and less as time goes on because their confidence starts to fade because of the things that they're called.
Things that they're called. You know, I gotta say, in high school, that's what I remember, that everyone in general started to put their hand up less because you start to realize, you start to get some self-awareness. Nobody likes a smart ass. And how are you ever going to land yourself a nice husband if you're some bloody smart ass, eh? Love?
So it's quite interesting. By the time they're in high school and for sure in college, they're not raising their hands as much. So hopefully we can teach our girls to continue to be fearless.
Well, and you were fearless as a little girl and so confident. I was watching a clip, I think we have it when you were 11, and they said, if you were a tennis player, who would you want to be like? Do you remember this? Do you remember what you said?
If you were a tennis player, who would you want to be like?
Well, I like other people to be like me.
That's a good answer.
I do. I said I wanted people to be like me. Honestly, I couldn't have written that better. I don't know why I said that because, quite frankly, I kind of sucked at the time, but maybe I knew something.
Some more pop psychology? Yes, please. Serena Williams strikes me as a woman who is quite low in agreeableness. She probably doesn't really care what you think of what she says. As an 11-year-old, she got asked, who do you want to be like? The normal response would be this tennis player or that tennis player. I want him to be like me. I like the way I play. Confident. She probably lacks a bit of self-awareness, but I doubt she really thinks as much as Meghan Markle about what other people think about her.
Do something, I don't know.
But it was something that's in you. And it's funny if I think of it, because I was 11 at the same time, and we're the same age, and we grew up both in LA. Although this morning I was saying to Harry, I said, do you remember one of those?
I'm the one, for the record,
I was about to say, when they said, Harry's girl is straight out of Compton. I was like, are they talking about Serena?
Oh, I'm sure Meghan and Harry laughed. I've never been anywhere near Serena. I promise, don't hit me.
I'm not from. I'm like,
that's my
exactly.
guy,
You love a redhead. I'm like, I'm not from Compton. I've never lived in Compton. My mom doesn't live in Compton. But by the way, what's wrong with Compton? My girl Serena's from there.
I said, I was born and raised in LA. I never even stepped foot in Compton. It's a fucking shithole. Plus, what's wrong with Compton? Serena Williams is from Compton.
I know, like, wait a minute. And I'm so proud to be from Compton, I have to say. Also, like, Dr. Dre is from Compton. And, what's his name? The actor, Kevin no, oh my goodness, I'm blanking.
I don't think Kevin Costner's from Compton.
Kevin Costner is from Compton.
No,
he is.
He's not.
Yes, he is. Google it.
Yeah, privileged white guy, Kevin Costner. He's from Compton as well. Sorry to shatter your worldview, Meghan.
Oh my gosh, that's wild.
But he even talks about it. Isn't it fascinating? I'm like,
that's amazing.
So
and it goes on like this.
Well, that's just about all I can take of it again for today. I don't know if I'm going to come back to this or not. I don't know. We'll just have to see what the universe has in store for me. If you've enjoyed the video, like it, share it, subscribe to the channel. We've got to try and defeat these algorithms that are keeping guys like me down. Eh?